Aita, if I leave my husband. Once I graduate, my 36F husband, 35M, and I have been married for 10 years and together for nearly 15. I was a stay-at-home mom for 8 years and truly thrived in that role. My husband jumped from job to job, but was mostly working full-time while I took care of the house and kids and managed our finances, while also making extra money by caring for other children in our home. Things were tight, but we managed to buy a house, build our credit, and live comfortably, if simply. About a year and a half ago, my husband was laid off from his job. This wasn't the first job he had lost, and he complained about this job endlessly, but it was the first time he lost a job through no fault of his own, and he became very depressed. With the school year ending, I suggested that I go back to work, and he takes the summer to spend time with our kids and figure out what he wants to do. To avoid jumping into another job he would resent. He had supported me staying home for 8 years, so I felt it was only fair he got a turn. I found a part-time job at a law firm and quickly realized that I really enjoyed the work. My husband spent the first few weeks of the summer having a blast, and soon realized how much work it took to run a house and look after the kids. He flattered me by saying he had no idea how hard my job had been, that I had kicked so much ass, etc. Towards the end of the summer, he got his dream job at the post office and began work just as our youngest went to kindergarten. Perfect timing. He quickly began to resent that job as well, and I started to hear complaints I had grown used to over the last decade and a half. My manager is an idiot, everyone is out to get me, etc. A few months later, one of our kids got COVID and had to stay home from school for 5 days. District policy. We decided that he would stay home with her since I enjoyed my job, and he seemed eager for an opportunity to take time off. He was let go from his job because he had not technically completed his probationary period. At this point, I had started taking classes at the community college to begin earning my paralegal degree. I told him that if he wanted to stay home to take care of the house and be on call for school emergencies, the difference in income would actually make me eligible for a full Pell Grant to finish my degree in 2 years. Plus, his being home while the girls were at school would afford him every opportunity to take care of himself, get caught up on his health care, and maybe even give therapy a shot. He seemed excited about this and has not looked for work since. It's been around a year now, and I am feeling very taken for granted. I work 32 to 40 hours a week with a full course load and manage our, now tedious, finances. He will mostly load and unload the dishwasher, wash and dry the laundry, and clean the cat boxes, but usually doesn't clean anything unless it becomes filthy. I try to help him catch up on the weekends. I still make all of the kids' doctor appointments and remind him to take them, and I am the primary contact for the school, no matter how much I try to get him to take the reins on that one since he has more time. So AITA if I leave my husband once I graduate. Anytime I try to address how overwhelmed I am, he falls back on how depressed he is while still refusing to go to therapy. I made him appointments a few times, but he stopped going as soon as the therapist started suggesting changes he could make. His temper has gotten even shorter with me, and he has begun losing his temper with the kids as well. He plays hours and hours and hours of video games and is very active on several message boards relating to his favorite games. He stays up late into the night loudly playing games and then bothers me for once he is finally ready for bed, even though I have to work in the morning. Obviously, the way he has been acting and treating me is not attractive at all, and our life is not great. He claims that the lack of intimacy is now affecting his motivation and self-esteem. He has gained weight in the last year. So have I, as this is my first desk job. But I do not find him any less attractive for it. Not to mention, I have been almost every body type imaginable, at least once in our 15 years together, and he never made me feel bad about it. I am honestly far more turned off by his behavior than his weight ever could. The house is a wreck. Whenever I try to help him catch up, I end up falling behind in school, and anytime I mention anything, he will deflect and turn it around into me treating him like a servant. I get somewhat caught up during school breaks, and I think that once I graduate, I should be able to have it back under control. But at that point, I will be doing everything, so it seems pointless to have a partner. I know that leaving him will be incredibly difficult, and I have witnessed his ability to take out his frustrations on anyone and everyone around him. I know that the current environment is toxic and not the healthiest for our children, but I also know that it will become even more toxic when I ask for a divorce and that he will make the process as awful for me and collaterally the kids as he possibly can. And of course, I feel a lot of guilt because he is clearly depressed. I have had mental health issues as well, and I know that I have not always been the best mother or wife that I could be. But I acknowledge this, and I worked on it. I am just so exhausted trying to constantly motivate him. Today, I got a call from the school when he failed to pick up our first grader. He said that he had fallen asleep because he was sick, and then later on tried to start an argument when I was having a difficult time getting my 6-year-old to bed, eventually telling me to leave when I shut down his attempt at helping, which was him yelling at the child, and accused me of being a lazy parent who only steps in to make him look bad. I am just too tired of how foolish I feel for trusting him after all the times he has shown me how unreliable he is. I still love him dearly. He is a truly kind person when he is happy. But I think that I might ask him for a divorce when I am done with school. So AITA, if I leave my husband once I graduate.